Well, a very good afternoon to you all on this 14th day of lockdown in South Africa. My name is Mark Long. I'm the Rector of St Andrews in Newlands. Our Eucharist readings today begin our journey towards Easter. Today is Maundy Thursday, and it's a day really where we reflect on what it is to eat as the people of God. Eating in the form of preparation for a journey that lies ahead. The reading from Exodus today reflects on the meal that takes place before the Passover and before Israel heads off into their real struggle of a journey, actually, through the desert towards the Promised Land. They are instructed to share the food out, the lamb in particular, according to the amount of people present. I suspect some families would have had a larger meal than others. The meal that Jesus shares with his disciples this evening is also one in which they are fed in preparation for the journey of great suffering and pain and hardship, and ultimately Jesus' death that lies before them. Both of those stories reflect the journey, they're an image actually of the journeys that we as human beings take on all sorts of different levels. And as we journey with the coronavirus at the moment and the pandemic, we too are on a journey, a difficult journey, a tough journey, one that is going to get more tough ahead. But part of what we take from today's readings is that God is with us on the journey, and that we are not alone. There will be times on the journey where we will wonder about God's provision. There are times in the journey where we will be challenged in terms of just that sense of collegiality and friendship and companionship on the road. There will be times of denial, there will be times of betrayal, there will be times where we feel completely alone and bereft and lost. But a time too will come where we will perceive something of the nature of what God is doing. And today's psalm touches on that. The psalmist has this wonderful sense in today's reading that God has heard his prayers, and he is hugely thankful for that. And my prayer is that we too will come to that point of having a real sense that in the midst of all of the chaos that is happening at the moment, that actually we are hearing the voice of God. And this journey, as tough as it is, and it's only likely to get tougher going forward, is one on which we will learn much. As the Israelites travel out of Egypt towards the Promised Land, it's a journey in which they grow into a burgeoning new nation. They leave behind the slave mind of Egypt, and they begin to take on an understanding of what it is to be a nation, a people on their own, one that experiences the presence and the blessing of God. The challenge for us as a nation is huge going forward. And this pandemic puts us into a similar journey, similar one to those, the Israelite journey through the desert, similar one to Jesus' journey to the cross, one that will challenge us on all sorts of levels, but one in which we may trust that God remains the one that sustains us and feeds us and continues to give us the resources that we need in these times. And the trick, of course, will be to identify the resources we have and how we can share those. One of the key aspects of the Last Supper Jesus shares with his disciples in John's Gospel is that he gets down on his knees and washes their feet. It's not about being in charge, it's not about being in control, it's about service. It's about reaching out to each other. It's about finding ways to really engage meaningfully with the need that we discover in our midst. And so, as we begin our journey, our shorter journey now towards Easter, may we know something of that great blessing of God and God's love. Amen.